This is a quick reference to refresh you on the rules of Kingdom Builder. If you are new to the game, we'd like to recommend our other Kingdom Builder video, which is a more in-depth look at the game.
To begin setup, have every player select a color and give them the 40 corresponding settlements and gold marker in that color. Select any of the 4 game boards and place them together like this. Do note that you can orient the board section however you like, so as long as the board fits together like so. Then take one of the unused game boards, flip it over, and reveal the score tracker side. This board will be used for keeping track of each player's goal. Each player should take their respective goal marker and place it on the black space. Now grab the 4 summary location tiles that match the location hexes on the board. Keep in mind that these are only for a reference, so it does not matter where they are placed. Now, place 2 location tiles on each of the corresponding location hex spaces. Remember, the castle hex locations will not have any tiles that match. Locate the deck of cards with a green back, shuffle them, and deal one out to each player. These are the terrain cards and will dictate where players can place their settlements during the game. Find the deck of cards with the red back, shuffle them, and deal 3 face up in front of every player. These will determine how players get gold and score points at this game. To complete setup, give the oldest player the star player tile, and they will start the game, and now you're ready to begin play. On a player's turn, they must take the mandatory action of playing their terrain card and then placing 3 settlements that match the terrain on the board. There is a catch to this, however, in that a player must always place adjacent to existing settlements on the board, if possible. There can only be 1 settlement on each space. If a player cannot place a settlement adjacent to an existing settlement on the board, then they can place their settlement on any space that matches the terrain card that was just played. A player can only play on these hex spaces: grass, canyon, desert, flower field, and forest. You can never build on top of a mountain, location tile hex, or a castle hex. And they can never place on a sea hex unless you have the harbor. In the rare chance that there are no eligible hex spaces for the active player to play their settlements on, that player removes the card from the game and draws a new terrain card, repeating this process until they can. If a player builds a settlement next to a location hex space, the player will take one of the corresponding location hex tiles. Each player can only get 1 location hex tile per space though. You can have more than one of a particular location hex tile as long as you have a settlement or settlements that are adjacent to the same location hex on a different location. If you move all settlements touching a location hex space away from that space, the corresponding extra action tile is discarded from the game and can no longer be used. This would occur if you used an extra action tile to move an existing settlement away. The location tiles you collect will give you extra actions that will grant you various abilities. You can choose to use as many or as few as you want on any given turn, but they cannot be used on the same turn you just collected it. Each tile can only be used once a turn. It is also important to note that you can do these extra actions in any order you choose, either before or after using your mandatory action. This includes placing all 3 settlements during the mandatory action before using any extra actions to interrupt this. Additionally, extra actions that allow you to place new settlements must follow the rules of adjacency and therefore would have to be placed next to existing settlements if applicable. If an extra location action allows you to place a new settlement and you place one next to a location space, you get that tile. A player's turn ends when they have taken their mandatory action, plus any extra actions they choose to do. To end a turn, a player discards their terrain card and draws a new one. Then they will flip any used extra action tiles back to the picture side, as they can be used each turn. If the draw deck runs out, take the discard pile, shuffle it, and create a new draw deck from this. Then, in clockwise order, the next player will take their turn. The game ends when a player has placed their last settlement. Note that you will finish the current round you are in, that way every player gets an equal number of turns. Players will then get gold based off a couple of things. The first thing you will score is castles you are adjacent to. Players will get 3 gold for each castle they are adjacent to. You will get 3 gold if you are adjacent to a castle, but not for each settlement adjacent to that castle. The other way you will get gold is based off the Kingdom Builder cards. Each player will get gold by meeting the criteria on the cards. The player with the most gold at the end of the game is the winner. If 2 or more players are tied, they share the victory.
If you have any more questions about Kingdom Builder, please reference our more in-depth video of the game or comment down below. Thanks for watching.